Today I bring you The Fall of Freddie the Leaf, a story of life for all ages. This is written by Leo Boschella. Thank you for this lovely book. This is a story about seasons of life. You can buy it online or find it at your favorite bookstore. Dedicated to all the children who have ever suffered a permanent loss, and to all the grown-ups who could not find a way to explain it. This story is also dedicated to Ronald, Christina, Meredith, Stephanie, and Julia, who are actively engaged in the spring of their lives, and to Barbara Slack, my editor for the past 10 years, who will always be a most loved and valued leaf on my life's tree. Spring had passed, so had summer. Freddie the leaf had grown large. His midsection was wide and strong, and his 5 extensions were firm and pointed. He had first appeared in spring as a small sprout on a rather large branch near the top of a tall tree. I thought no better fitting background than the woods for this story. Freddie was surrounded by hundreds of other leaves just like himself, or so it seemed. Soon he discovered that not 2 leaves were alike, even though they were on the same tree. Alfred was the leaf next to him, Ben was the leaf on his right side, and Claire was the lovely leaf overhead. They had all grown up together. They had all learned to dance in the spring breezes, bask lazily in the summer sun, and wash off in the cooling rains. But it was Daniel who was Freddie's best friend. He was the largest leaf on the limb and seemed to have been there before anyone else. It appeared to Freddie that Daniel was also the wisest among them. It was Daniel who told them that they were part of a tree. It was Daniel who explained they were growing in a public park. It was Daniel who told them that the tree had strong roots, which were hidden in the ground below. He explained about the birds who came to sit on the branch and sing the morning songs. He explained about the sun, the moon, the stars, and the seasons. And Loon Loon's here as part of the story. Come here, Loon Loon. Come here, girl. Good girl. Freddie loved being a leaf. He loved his branch, his light, leafy friends, his place high in the sky, the wind that jostled him about, the sun rays that warmed him, the moon that covered him with soft, white shadows. Summer had been especially nice. The long, hot days felt good, and the warm nights were peaceful and dreamy. There were many people in the park that summer. They often came and sat under Freddie's tree. Daniel told him that giving shade was part of his purpose. "What's a purpose?" Freddie had asked. "A reason for being," Daniel had answered. "To make things more pleasant for others is a reason for being. To make shade for older people who come to escape the heat of their homes is a reason for being. To provide a cool place for children to come and play. To fan with our leaves the picnickers who come to eat on checkered tablecloths. There are all reasons for being." Freddie especially liked the old people. They sat so quietly on the cool grass and hardly ever moved. They talked in whispers of times of the past. What do you think, Luna? The children were fun too, even though they sometimes tore holes in the bark of the tree or carved their names into it. Still, it was fun to watch them move so fast and laugh so much. But Freddie's summer soon passed. It vanished on an October night. He had never felt it so cold. All the leaves shivered with cold. They were coated with a thin layer of white, which quickly melted and left them dew-drenched and sparkling in the morning sun. Again, it was Daniel who explained that they had experienced their first frost, the sign that it was fall and that winter would come soon. Almost at once, the whole tree, in fact, the whole park, was transformed into a blaze of color. There was hardly a green leaf left. Alfred had turned a deep yellow, Ben had become a bright orange, and Claire had become a blazing red. Daniel a deep purple, and Freddie was red and gold and blue. How beautiful they all looked. Freddie and his friends had made their tree a rainbow. "Why did we turn different colors?" Freddie asked, "when we are on the same tree?" Each of us is different. We have had different experiences. We have faced the sun differently. We have cast shade differently. Why should we not have different colors? Daniel said matter-of-factly. Daniel told Freddie that this wonderful season was called fall. One day, a very strange thing happened. The same breezes that in the past had made them dance began to push and pull at their stems, almost as if they were angry. This caused some of their leaves to be torn from their branches and swept up in the wind, tossed about and dropped softly to the ground. All the leaves became frightened. "What's happening?" they asked each other in whispers. "What's happening?" "It's what happens in fall," Daniel told them. "It's the time for leaves to change their homes. Some people call it to die." "Will we all die?" Freddie asked. "Yes," Daniel answered. "Everything dies, no matter how big or small, how weak or strong. We first do our job. We experience the sun and the moon, the wind and the rain. We learn to dance and to laugh. Then we die." "I won't die," said Freddie with determination. "Will you, Daniel?" "Yes," answered Daniel, "when it's my time." "When is that?" asked Freddie. "No one knows for sure," Daniel responded. Freddie noticed that the other leaves continued to fall. He thought, it must be their time. He saw that some of the leaves lashed back at the wind before they fell. Others simply let go and dropped quietly. Soon the tree was almost bare. "I'm afraid to die," Freddie told Daniel. I don't know what's down there." "We all fear what we don't know, Freddie. It's natural," Daniel reassured him. "Yet you were not afraid when spring became summer. You were not afraid when summer became fall. They were natural changes. Why should you be afraid of the season of death?" "Does the tree die too?" Freddie asked. "Someday. But there is something stronger than the tree. It is life that lasts forever, and we are all a part of life." "Where will we go when we die?" "No one knows for sure. That's the great mystery. Will we return in the spring? We may not, but life will." "Then what has been the reason for all this?" Freddie continued to question. "Why were we here at all if we only have to fall and die?" Daniel answered in his matter-of-fact way, "It's been about the sun and the moon. It's been about happy times together. It's about the shade and the old people and the children. It's about the colors in fall. It's about the seasons. Isn't that enough?" That afternoon, in the golden light of dusk, Daniel let go. He fell effortlessly. He seemed to smile peacefully as he fell. "Goodbye for now, Freddie," he said. Then Freddie was alone. The only leaf left on the branch. The first snow fell the following morning. It was soft, white, and gentle. But it was bitter cold. There was hardly any sun that day, and the day was very short. Freddie found himself losing his color, becoming brittle. It was constantly cold, and the snow weighed heavily upon him. At dawn, the wind came that took Freddie from his branch. It didn't hurt at all. He felt himself float quietly, gently, and softly downward. As he fell, he saw the whole tree for the first time, how strong and firm it was. He was sure that it would live for a long time, and that he knew that he had been a part of its life, and it had made him proud. Is that right, Luna? Freddie landed on a clump of snow. It somehow felt soft and even warm. In this new position, he was more comfortable than he had ever been. He closed his eyes and fell asleep. He did not know that spring would follow winter and that the snow would melt into water. He did not know that what appeared to be his useless dried self would join with the water and serve to make the tree stronger. Most of all, he did not know that there, asleep in the tree and the ground, were already plans for new leaves in the spring. The beginning. It is difficult to capture the magic of nature, but I feel that those responsible for photography in this book have done just that. I would like to express my gratitude to the photographers Anthony Frizzano, Greg Lewid, Ken Noack, Bobby Probstein, and Misty Todd Slack. Together, we have all attempted to share in the mystery of Freddie the Leaf. Leo Buscella, who wrote this book, died of heart failure on June 12, 1998 at his home in Lake Tahoe, Nevada at the age of 74. A note was found on his typewriter the next day. It read, "Every moment spent in unhappiness is a moment of happiness lost." So that's the story of the fall of Freddie the Leaf. I hope that this will bring you some comfort. I know many of you have suffered with loss, whether it's change related to the pandemic, events canceled, reunions stopped. Maybe you've lost a loved one because of COVID or because of another medical event like cancer or something else. Or maybe you've lost someone because of something entirely different, like a car accident or natural disaster, or even something like suicide. I'm thinking of all of you during this time and wishing you comfort and sending you virtual hugs. I hope this book gives you some comfort. And one last visit from Luna. Luna, do you like the woods? Yes, she says. She says it's comfortable. Have a good day. Sending you my thoughts.